Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a professional vocalist and songwriter who is in the America genre, but I kind of like what she calls herself. She calls herself homegrown soul. And I've listened to her songs and I agree. Please welcome Erisa Rei. Hi, Erisa.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. So basically, you didn't get interested really in singing and making it a career until you decided to go to college, and you were actually a dancer, a ballet dancer when you started college, but everything changed for you. So tell me what happened and right up to now.
Yeah, I was interested more in teaching ballet. It was my choice of career, and I decided, because all my friends were trying out for choir and show choir, that I would follow along with them, just be part of the crowd. And I had to do an audition, and in the audition I ended up getting scholarships for it. And then I learned more about music and took voice lessons, and I realized I really liked it a lot. So.
Well, I'm glad you changed your course because your voice is amazing. I love your songs. Now, you were growing up, it was a lot of church, like you were brought up Christian, right, in your house?
Yes.
And mostly it was Christian music, and now you're kind of in the blues, soul kind of thing. What got you interested in that?
The church that I grew up with was very strict, and so basically all I learned and heard growing up were church songs and a little bit of CCM, contemporary Christian music. And when I left that church environment when I was probably 28, I started hearing all these different things, different styles and genres that I'd never heard of before. And soul and blues particularly kind of caught my ear and kind of resonated with my soul. So it came kind of out when I was learning to songwrite outside of the Christian genre.
Okay, and like you went to Lincoln College, and your storytelling in your songs, it captures me. I love your voice, number one, but your songs, they either make me sit and listen or I'm kind of dancing in my chair. They're just so good. And you released your first CD in 2007, and you were already in college by then, you might have been finished, and it was called Backwards. And basically, going to college kind of opened your eyes to a lot of the different things that are going on in the world instead of growing up in a Christian home, and that helped you write some of your songs from your experiences, right?
Yeah, it's really good to hear that I have a storytelling in my song, because as a songwriter and just as an artist, we're our own worst critics, and we're notoriously hard on ourselves. And to hear that people get my stories, that's really cool. As far as my songs go, I rarely write about one specific instance in one song. What happens is I'll tie different life situations together, and I say, well, this is similar to this. And from that, come up with kind of like a catchphrase and write a song about it, or occasionally it'll just come out all at once. It's just different each time I write. So.
Okay. And the new CD, you have another CD that came out, and it was Blackballed, and it was released in 2012. And the CD reached number 2 on the Roots Music Report's Rock Internet charts, as well as number 26 on Roots 66 international charts. That's quite a feat.
Yeah, I was obviously very happy to have that happen. And I had a lot of help with my radio promoter guy teaching me the ropes. And that year I really gained a lot of contacts in the radio arena. And really all depends on how and when you release your album. With Backwards, Blackball, I released it at a really good time. January is a great time for smaller independent artists to try to break into the radio market. And this time, I think because of
when you released
because of this kind of feel I wanted with Glass Jar, I released it in April. And now there's a huge influx of Americana artists. Everyone's kind of jumping on the Americana bandwagon. It's very popular. And so it's a lot harder to get into the market. But I've gotten some decent radio play on the Americana charts with this one. So it's all good. And I'm happy with any radio play that I get, just because I'm just a girl from the cornfields of Illinois. So...
Well, that's good. I'm really glad it did really well. Now, I also want to talk, this must have just blown you away. You were a finalist in the 2016 John Lennon Songwriting Contest. If I could talk. How did that feel? Like, that's amazing.
It was such a great solidification in myself of my talent as a songwriter. I felt like my songs were getting better. I felt like my songs were getting stronger. I had some naysayers say that a couple of the songs on the Glass Jar album, they said the songs were not good enough. And it just comes from perspective. It's like, at my age, I don't expect to be singing on the Grammy stage at this point in my career. So the fact that I got 3 this year, that I got nods from different songwriting competitions for 3 different songs, not just the same song, it was 3 different songs. It really just kind of boosted my confidence in myself.
Yeah, it would. No kidding. That's amazing. Now, you have performed in everywhere that's on my bucket list. I'm going to Nashville one day, and one of the places I'm going is the Bluebird Cafe, and you have performed there. And I mean, some of the biggest names in the industry have come from there, as well as now they film the ABC television show Nashville. I mean, it's a huge, huge, iconic place. So what was that like performing there?
It was definitely on my bucket list too. And back when I performed there, Nashville, the TV show, had not ever aired. And so it wasn't even though it's like iconic anyway, it just kind of blew out of the water once Nashville came on. But at any rate, I was really thankful that I was able to perform in such a legendary venue.
Yeah. Now, you've also toured Europe, and you've played in cities like London, Paris, Glasgow, and Dublin. Again, all on my bucket list. And one of your fans drove 4 hours to come and see you in concert.
Yeah. I was blown away by that. I couldn't believe it. She's the sweetest woman. Her name is Isabel. And she came and she drove 4 hours to Paris to come listen to me at this little dive bar in Paris. It was the trip was something what I'm never going to do again. This is incredibly foolish of me. Was to book a tour, a music tour, along with like a second honeymoon with my husband, because it is February and we're lugging guitars, we're lugging our luggage and my merch bag. And we were walking miles between places, and it was colder. I mean, that doesn't get super cold there, but it was, it's February, so it's colder there and chilly, and we're carrying and lugging all this stuff, and we're going from city to city to city pretty quickly without much downtime. And I just remember being very exhausted and very tired, and we end up, like, our immune system stopped working. We ended up getting sick, but at the same time, it was beautiful. It was such an experience to see. Like, Galway in Ireland was just lovely and quaint, and Glasgow and Edinburgh. Obviously, I'm like a big, huge Scottish, maniac because I'm very Scottish, and I just, I don't know, I loved it there. I wanted to take a train and drive up and just look out at the scenery. I didn't have time.
Yeah.
And then Paris surprised me because so many people told me Paris is just amazing and beautiful. And it seemed kind of frou-frou to me. I'm kind of more, let's go on trail walks or something outside. And, but it was just magical. Paris was magical.
Wow.
I was blown away by Paris. Happily surprised.
Good.
How lovely it is.
Besides the second honeymoon not really working out and getting sick. Yeah, Paris is one of the places I want to go. And when you talk about I'm Scottish, and actually both sets of my grandparents come from Scotland. So I have seen pictures, so I can imagine what the scenery would be like. It's so green and the castles, and anyways. Great for you to be able to go there, and UK fans are so amazing. I have so many UK fans, and they're so dedicated to you.
The Europeans are very good at supporting your music, my music, and just music in general. Whether you're doing a radio show or you're doing actual art, they just really appreciate of the arts and talent. I really appreciate my European fans a lot.
Yeah, they're really great. Now, Glass Jar, your newest CD, it says it comes from a different place. You wanted people to listen to Glass Jar and feel like they were back on Grandma's porch in their rocker, reminiscing about the past, whether good or bad. And no matter how stupid you've been and the mistakes you've made, you're still a good person and you just want to feel good.
Yeah, I think part of life is learning from your mistakes and putting your big girl pants on and realizing your part in it. Not totally accepting all the behavior of other people, but, it's just, and then remembering the good times as well as the hard times. And I went through a season, quite a few years actually, after I left the church, of just, trying to survive. And it was really, it's almost, sometimes it was hard to breathe because it was very painful dealing with all the wounds that I was dealing with. And I wanted with this album to show that you can heal. You take up your part in it and realize that you need to fess up to your own stuff and just let all the other parts of it just roll off your back and just enjoy life. Mm-hmm. And that's what this last couple, especially since we moved to our place here in the country back in October, even though I recorded this, it was almost like a prophetic thing of my life, because mm-hmm. I wasn't quite when I recorded it. It was I wasn't quite there yet, but I was like, it was like my songs of like, this is what I want to feel like in the future. And so I was just like, they're like, it's cool because I do feel all these things in truth and honesty now. I really am so very happy. We're very happy where we're at right now. It's we're very blessed. That's what that comes about.
Well, and you can tell. It's the kind of CD. Again, I think this every time I hear the songs. You just want to curl up on your couch with a glass of wine and put your CD on and just chill. Because seriously, some of the songs, make you think and take you on a journey. And some of the songs make you dance in your chair, like I said earlier. And I was so pleasantly surprised when I first listened to you, Erisa. Like, it's just, your voice is so recognizable no matter what you're singing. And these songs are just, they blew me away. So congratulations, because you did a very good job as far as I'm concerned. Now, another thing, you have 5 children that are all homeschooled. You live out in the country, you garden, you make your own food. Like, how do you manage everything?
Well, it's not like I threw all that on myself at once. You have I'm so glad I did not have a set of twins. I had them all one at a time. And you get your kids one at a time. And I did canning in the middle of that, and I gardened in the middle of that. It's just little steps, baby steps. It's not, and then the homeschooling came, and you really, honestly, when you train your kids right, they are also learning how to do it. So they're a big help to me.
Oh, that's
and then also the fact that it's just, like I said, it's a step-by-step process. It's not something you throw on yourself all at once. And I hate like trying to get everybody out the door. So I can't imagine doing that super early in the morning. I'd be like a dragon, breathing fire. I'm serious. That would drive me crazy. There's certain things that get on my nerves, and I don't like being tardy. It's not my shtick. So, yeah. To each his own, and I applaud single moms, and I applaud moms who work, and I applaud moms who stay at home, because there's room for everybody, and I don't think I'm any better than anybody else because I've done what I've done. That's what was right for us.
Well, that's awesome. Now, your kids are older now too, so it must be a lot easier.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about your daughter, but go ahead.
Yeah, my oldest three are my oldest three are girls, and they're all teenagers now. And my two youngest are boys, and my youngest is 8 years old. So it's a lot easier now than it used to be. Yeah. But what I did like about homeschooling is the kids get done with their school within 3 hours, and then they have free time. And what I didn't realize is, for a couple of years, my daughter had been playing on this keyboard my dad had gotten them, the kids, but she had done it in her headphones, and she'd just been, I thought they were just like, doing chopsticks or something, like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something on the keyboard. And I was super surprised to, when she took off the headphones and she started playing. I'm like, where did this come from? And she sounds amazing. And then she started writing and then she showed me some of the songs she was writing, and she's very astute for her age. She's blows me away. She just graduated high school, and now she's pursuing music. And her name is Lily Kopp.
Lily Kopp. Okay. Well, once she gets a CD out or whatever, send her my way, definitely. And yeah, following in Mom's footsteps. That's cool. I really like that. Now, where are you going from here? Like, are you writing? Are you getting a new CD together? What are your plans for the future?
It's still up in the air. I have a songwriters retreat with Jody Stakey coming up in August. She developed Sheryl Crow and Katy Perry, and I was chosen back in March to be part of her retreat, and now I'm going to the alumni retreat, and just to learn more, even hone my skills even better. And I have a few songs that I have in mind. I have an idea of what I want to do. It might be a little grittier than this last album. It might be a little bit more funk drum sort of thing, because I love funk drums. But everything's still up in the air. I don't have a set plan except to be better than the last one. Every time I try to do one, I try to do a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. So.
Well, and that's what you have to do. Now, if you had any advice to give any young artists that are just starting out, what would that advice be?
I said something like really cool before. I had it in my mind, and now I can't remember what I was going to say. But I think, slow down. Just slow it down. Youngins, know who you are as a person, first of all. Know your own mind, know your own morals, know your own stance. And then from that comes your own style. From that comes your own feel. From that comes your own sound. And then build your following up before you start spending lots of money on recording and promotion and all this stuff. Know how to communicate with people. Know how to have fans. I'm so glad that I met Rick Barker on Rick Barker stuff, because if I would have heard what he had told me when I started, it would have been so much easier. Less toil and turmoil.
Yeah.
And a lot more just work. Work is hard, but lots of disappointment, I think. So, just slow down. Slow down. That's my advice to the young ones.
Well, that's good advice. And when you mentioned Rick Barker, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of artists that I've talked to really use him and watch his videos and, all his stuff. He used to be Taylor Swift's manager, so he knows what he's doing. One of the things he taught me, he posted on his Twitter thing, the more people you follow, the more people that'll follow you back. And it's actually working for me. So he's a really good guy to have in your back pocket. Okay, and what 2 songs are we going to hear from you today, Erisa?
I believe it's Glass Jar and Don't Fade Away.
Yes, and they're completely 2 different songs, are completely different songs. I'll learn to talk one day. Glass Jar is the one that gets me kind of dancing in my seat. And Don't Fade Away is kind of, mellower, and it's a message, and it's just, they're both really, really good songs. The whole CD is good. Everything you've done is good. I'm a huge fan, like an absolute huge fan. And I'm so glad you came on my show. Now, I just wanted to let everybody know, too, you are giving away some free downloads of your music on your website. And your website's going to be up on my website, but it's erisareimusic.com. So people can go there and download some of your music. And also support artists. Please, wherever you purchase your music online, go and purchase Erisa's music, because she's just, like I said, she's just amazing. You'll hear the songs and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming on my show. And the door is always open. Anything new happens, your new CD comes out, anything, hit me up on Twitter and we'll get you back on the show to talk about it. And if you ever want to perform kind of like acoustic or whatever, I've got this Allie's Artisan Alcove on Wednesday evenings where I do it via Skype and people perform. I wish it was live, but it's not. It's pre-recorded. But anyways, if you're ever interested in that, let me know. And I wish you all the best. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website, because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.